We have a wildly beloved character with Sam Fisher. Players universally agree they prefer and love Sam being voiced by Michael Ironside. Sam leads the iconic stealth series Splinter Cell. We haven't seen a new Splinter Cell game in almost 10 years. Yes, almost a full decade. Ironside is still kicking. There is plenty of room for more Splinter Cell games, and adventures, and threats for Sam to stop. You could argue that while the stealth genre is more niche, it is something that players want. No, I'm not talking about tacked-on stealth, where you hit crouch, and now it's all sneaky time, but rather a game that is built around the player being actively sneaky. Whether that is more of a passive shadow or a lethal assassin, like a character arriving and leaving without anyone noticing. Sure, indies have helped to prop this up. Some of the bigger studios have done their part with the likes of the excellent World of Assassination with Hitman, Metal Gear Solid 3 getting a full-blown remake, and maybe even more on the horizon. And yet Ubisoft doesn't want to do anything with one of their biggest heavy hitters. For a studio that could absolutely need a win at a time like this, why are they benching one of their biggest stars? Maybe it has something to do with the fact they don't know how to use Sam, especially when in his own game, but they have no problem wheeling Sam out for any of their other games. Ubisoft, I beg you, get this man off the bench and let him play. Over the years, there is a phrase that I think very much fits in line with what has happened to Sam and Splinter Cell. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Sam, Splinter Cell, everything about this series definitely feels like Ubisoft treats it secondary. Now you could make the argument that the series has been around and it's doing well. Sam is featured in many different things, even has an animated show coming to Netflix, and that is just the thing. All those things are secondary to actually having a game where Sam is leading the charge. Secondary stuff is fun, cool, and even well done in some cases, but it's still very secondary. Splinter Cell started as its own series, a long-running one. Anything outside of that is not primary attention. For example, the new TV show coming out. Honestly, I have no idea if it's going to be any good. Maybe it will. But one thing I noticed is that Michael Ironside is not voicing him. I could understand not bringing Ironside back if this was a live-action movie, but voice work? That is how Sam Fisher started, and Ironside helped to make this character his own with all of his contributions to that character. Ironside is Sam, and Sam is Ironside. So then why not use Ironside in the show? Beats me because that feels like a no-brainer thing to do. I think I would be even more excited for the show if Ironside was coming back. Heck, if all of the prior cast was returning too. It would show me that the production is making an effort for the legacy to be authentic. Sam was a character in Rainbow Six Siege, but this character model looked more like Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 8 than actually Sam. In other games, Sam's outfit would be there as items, like say in The Division or other Ubisoft titles, so they are still aware of this legacy. The two big prominent forms of content that highly indicated that Splinter Cell, Sam, and Ironside were all coming back hopefully for their own game was with the DLCs for both Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breakpoint. For a string of free content updates to Wildlands, the first of which was really awesome because it featured Sam Fisher in his own mission, and he got some Splinter Cell items along with it. Ironside came back and it was a big deal at the time. I was like, wow, this is sort of like a tease for hopefully a new game. The DLC came and went and we were happy. The hype and excitement was big, and yet nothing happened. Breakpoint then came out. Sam returned in his own DLC campaign. Easily some of the best stuff for that game. And then again, I'm like, Ubisoft must be working on something for Sam or Splinter Cell related. And yet again, nothing. You build all of this hype and excitement by including Sam, going out of your way to feature him in these Ghost Recon games, and then have nothing lined up, like his own new game or something like that. What was the point of it then? To give us all false hope, and then ultimately just piss us off? You want to gauge how people still felt about the series, Sam and Ironside? Well, there's your examples, easily. That is where, if you're not doing a new game, that was the perfect point to kind of kickstart one right there, and not waste your time. But you ended up wasting that perfect opportunity. I am all for waiting for a new game within your series. You know, take your time, make it the best game you can make it. And I thought it was a really long wait between Double Agent to Conviction with 4 years, but Blacklist came out in 2013, and here we are in 2025. Where is something Splinter Cell related? No, I'm not talking about seeing Sam in other people's games. The cameo thing is cool, but like I said, this only really works if you have something big to go along with it. Teases, winks, and nods to Splinter Cell are great, But when I don't have a main line or something to actually play, starring Sam, well then it starts to feel a bit disingenuous. So almost a decade since we've seen Sam in a starring role. Now sure, there were some other interesting leaks that came out last year that shed some light on yes, Sam was actually supposed to come back last year. In 2024, apparently we were supposed to get a Splinter Cell Blacklist remaster. Okay, cool, that's a nice start, if that actually had happened. I can understand if a studio wants to go the remaster route for a franchise that's been a bit more dormant. It's a safe option. Get some of the old favorite games out there so that more people can get exposed to these games and see what fans think of it, along with seeing if there's any new fans jumping on. This could actually help to gauge the temperature of the room and see what size of your potential audience is. Even just on a simple standpoint, a remaster of something like Blacklist, or honestly any of the Splinter Cell titles, is just like doing a layup. It's an easy win. So then why was something like this not released? Why was it held back? Will this be something that we'll eventually see? Or will this remaster just go unreleased and back into the shadows, effectively with this character and the franchise? Honestly, only time will tell. Personally, I think Sam should come back and get this legend out of retirement. Put a mic in front of Ironside and let's get the magic happening again. It's not a measure of whether this should happen or not. This deserves to happen. We, the players, the industry, the entire medium, deserves to see this legend return. When looking at something like Splinter Cell, Sam, Ironside, and all of that, this is a series, a character, a gaming icon that should not be treated this way. Splinter Cell should have a primary focus, not continually regulated to playing second fiddle. Oddly enough, I think Sam's greatest enemy is not Megiddo or some type of terrorist, but rather Ubisoft mismanagement. How do you go from 10 years without any new game? No remasters of the prior titles either. You want an easy win, and you can only remaster one game? Remaster the one most people consider to be the best, with Chaos Theory. Personally, I would remaster all of them in a nice Splinter Cell collection, but work to bring back Chaos Theory. Be like, okay, fans apparently want to see Sam again leading the way. Let's test those waters by reintroducing what many consider to be the best game in the franchise. If the remaster is done well, I think the fans would come in full force to really support it, along with probably seeing new players latch on and get exposed to Splinter Cell. Then build off of this, maybe make a new game that's very much in line of what made Chaos Theory so great to begin with. Yeah, sure, that sounds a bit safe, but at the same time, it sounds like good old-fashioned Splinter Cell, and a little more old-fashioned is not a bad thing. Honestly, something that we need more of right now. Ubisoft should have treated this series with more care and respect than what it has been over the years. And I mean, sure, I do need to give them some credit, is that when Sam was brought back for, say, the Ghost Recon games, he was very much well respected and treated like a legend he is. And I did enjoy those two offerings, but as an overall thing, have that care and respect then follow through with a new game or something. I sit here as a fan of the series. The games still hold up. They can't take those away. Well, actually they kinda can, because they kinda did that with Pandora Tomorrow. But the internet lives forever, so there's always gonna be a way. But my point with this is that if Sam never gets to properly come back, we have a great legacy of games to enjoy. And if that is the case, Sam will join the ranks of other long gone but always remembered stealth series like, say, Siphon Filter, where we should have seen another one of those too, but never got it. But along with all of these, what we had and what we will always have will always be good. What are your thoughts on all of this? Do you feel the same way with Ubisoft always treating Sam as a secondary thing? Is it time for him to come back properly? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you can help to keep this channel going strong, and this allows me to be able to do more for my awesome audience. Please check out the links in the description and pinned comment for ways to support the channel. And most of all, thank you very much for watching.